This is a hitting podcast, as people know who listen and watch on a daily basis. So I'm going to ask you a little bit here about hitting. I want to know what you look at your absolutes and what you think makes a great hitter.
Well, hitting is about timing,
Yep.
and uh, and timing is usually about vision, and not just the 20/20 vision, but having a good visual strategy and having good mechanics that allow you to be on time to a particular pitch. And I think that sometimes we try and clone hitters into a particular mode, and I think probably the best way to do it is to backward engineer and again get back to ball flight. What kind of ball flight? Hey, this guy hit the ball hard,
Mhm.
exit velocity again, 107, and it was at a certain launch angle or a line drive. And okay, what did that swing look like? And there's a wide bandwidth in what produces that exit velocity or that launch angle. And Hunter Pence does it one way, and Trey Turner does it another way. And I think there's a wide standard deviation about what works, but all the good guys that hit, they're on time, and they have good vision. They have good vision, good visual strategy. You can have the best swing in the world. If you don't see the ball well, you can kiss the baby. You can have the best swing in the world, and if you're not on, if you're early or you're late, the impact is going to be affected. So again, I think the biggest thing we're doing is we're finding training regimens, and I think the game has changed dramatically, probably in the last 3 or 4 years. I remember when the Giants were playing well, and they talked about practicing dirty to play clean, and what they were talking about is making, in the day, batting practice would be some old guy like me hitting guys, throwing the ball and leaving no balls in the batting cage and just hitting guys' barrels at the same speed in the same spot, and guys were just trying to break the furniture in the third deck. Now we're hitting off the pitching machine much, much, much more. The speed of the game, the randomness of preparation. Now we're not beating guys up necessarily, and because you can't fail, and go out and expect to succeed. You got to have some feel good BP in that terms. I think that these new foam balls they're using beat guys up less in batting practice. But again, I could talk mechanics till the cows come home. But the reality is the better guys are less focused on mechanics and more focused on approach. And so I think at a certain point, now certainly if you're a young player, you got to learn how to swing before you learn how to hit. But at a certain point, you got to learn how to hit, and learning how to hit is strategizing situational things, being prepared for that pitcher in a particular situation, and the speed, being able to be good at swinging at strikes and good at taking balls. Those types of things will separate the average from the great more than anything else for me.
So what do you think? What advice would you give to a young hitter trying to create that strategy, a baseline for a successful strategy at the plate?
Well, I would say develop mechanics that can hit the fastball. That's number one. That would be, my training. I'm not going to put an 8-year-old in at 100 miles an hour, but appropriate eventually. And once he gets a swing, appropriate velocity for his age level. And for me, the number one pitch that you need to control is the fastball in, because that's the purest swing, hitting a line drive between the left fielder and the foul line that doesn't have topspin and doesn't have hook. Now, once you can do that, then it becomes a timing swing. That's your swing on the ball in the middle and the ball away. It's just you start it later, or you're hitting the ball out in front of your body, but not as far out in front of your body. And once you can take that best fastball away, then it keeps you from having to cheat and leak to get to the fastball in. And then courage is a big thing. And we don't talk about it a lot, but I thought it was interesting. I looked at the Nolan Ryan special on Netflix the other day, and they were talking about, Nolan was an intimidator, and he got your attention by throwing balls close to you. And he's like Don Drysdale said, the best way to get their attention is when they're flat on their back. And so So fear at the plate is a factor, and a lot of times fear at the plate is lack of confidence. And again, confidence is everything. I don't care what your swing looks like. If you believe you got a chance, you usually can compete. And so having self-confidence, and I think that comes back to putting guys in a drill environment where they can be successful a percentage of the time, not all the time, and then catching guys or girls for that matter doing things right. I think this is we always tend to find hey, don't do this and don't do that. I'd rather catch that person doing it right and reinforce that, because that builds self-confidence. And once they have self-confidence, they got a chance to improve their performance dramatically.